It's been 1 year since RuneScape Dragonwilds released, and the game is in a completely different place now. But to understand how much it changed, we need to look at how it launched. When RuneScape Dragonwilds first dropped, it came with a lot of hype and big expectations. And while the game wasn't bad, it definitely felt unfinished. There wasn't a ton of content, some core features were missing, and once you got past the early game, progression started to slow down. It had a strong foundation, but it just needed more. So, what changed? Over the past year, this is where RuneScape Dragonwilds really started to evolve. First off, the game got a major content expansion, with new areas like Fellhollow and the latest region, Dowdun, each with their own distinct biomes and challenges, giving players way more world to explore instead of feeling limited early on. Progression also get a huge boost, with level caps now going all the way up to 99, making grinding feel a lot more meaningful for the long-term experience. On top of that, they added new skills like fishing and farming, which help you break up the gameplay loop and give you more ways to progress outside of just combat. There's also been a big increase in content overall, new enemies, tougher bosses, new quests, and a lot more gear, including weapons, armor, and items that open up different playstyles. They've also added dedicated servers, so you don't have to rely on one person hosting anymore, which makes playing with friends a lot more smoother and consistent. On top of that, there's been a ton of smaller quality of life updates that just make the game feel a whole lot better to play overall. So it's just not that there's more to do, it's that the whole experience feels more complete now. And before we hop in, don't forget to subscribe, and while you're there, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and to not miss any future videos, don't forget to turn on the bell. So, what does that actually look like in gameplay? At its core, the game is all about progression, leveling up your skills, getting better gear, and slowly pushing into more dangerous areas. You'll spend a lot of time gathering resources like wood, ores, and other materials, which you then use to craft your gear, upgrade your base, and prepare for tougher fights. Building also plays a big role, whether it's setting up a safe base, storing your resources, or creating something beautiful and efficient as you progress. From there, it naturally leads into exploration, heading out into new areas, taking on enemies, completing quests, and working your way towards bigger challenges like bosses. And that is really the loop: gather, upgrade, explore, and repeat, each time getting a little stronger and unlocking more of what the game has to offer. Now, when it comes to combat, it's honestly a bit of a mixed bag. It's not bad, but it's not amazing either. Most of the time, it comes down to your timing of your dodges and parries, rather than positioning or movement playing any role. That said, it's got more depth further in the game, but nothing major, and for bosses, they do have mechanics and patterns, but they're not super complex or anything crazy like you'd see in other games. As for PvP, it's technically there, but it's not really a core part of the game. Since there aren't official servers, you're mostly relying on playing with friends, which means for a lot of players, it's basically non-existent. So overall, I do think that the combat is pretty basic and it does need more improvements. Now, after spending a good amount of time in game, a few things really stood out. One that actually surprised me was the new areas. They feel like they have a lot more of a story to them, instead of just being a new zone to run around. The part that really kept me playing though was the loop of building up my base and constantly upgrading my gear. That said, one of my biggest frustrations was the animation lock when fighting and gathering. It felt clunky and annoying being stuck in place with every hit, but the standout moments were definitely exploring those new areas for the first time, going in not fully prepared, discovering new enemies, and just seeing what's out there. So, with all that in mind, here are the pros and cons. And let me know in the comments what you agree or disagree with, and if there's anything you think I missed. Starting with the pros. One of the biggest strengths of Dragonwilds is the building system. There's a lot of freedom, and it actually feels like you can create something unique. Another big plus is how the game keeps on improving. All the expansions and new content have been added for free, which makes it feel like the game is constantly growing. The progression is also really solid, With the level cap going up to 99 and the new added systems, there's just a lot more to grind towards. Dedicated servers is a great addition. You no longer need to leave your game open so your friends can play. There's also a really nice sense of familiarity. As crazy as this might sound, but as you play, you'll forget you're playing RuneScape, and you'll have these moments where you recognize NPCs, items, and random things throughout the world, and you'll be like, hey, that's from RuneScape. And lastly, the world design and atmosphere are strong, the graphics are clean, and it actually feels like you're in the world when you're exploring it. Now, the cons. Combat can feel clunky at times, mainly because of animation locking when fighting, making you feel stuck in place, especially with heavy weapons. It can feel slow, with stamina quickly running out, and dodging doesn't really feel impactful since you can dodge in any direction, even into the enemy's hit, and still dodge it. There's also a noticeable lack of smaller animations, like pulling out tools or weapons, which makes things feel a little bit less polished. The story is another weak point. It's there, but it's not very immersive. There's no real cutscenes like when you defeat a boss expecting it to be dramatic or anything. Nope, it just ends there. And for NPCs, there's no voice acting, else than a few words or sounds. One of the most annoying things was the dragon and NPC raids that randomly happen, which get annoying over time, especially since there's no real way to opt out in settings or by defeating them so they don't come back. And lastly, the biggest disappointment is that despite the RuneScape name, this isn't an MMO or even a small to medium scale multiplayer experience. I think this is one of the biggest missed opportunities for this game, and even if that's not the direction they want to go in, they're not doing themselves a favor by using the RuneScape name. So, should you play RuneScape Dragonwilds? If you're a new player looking for a survival game with building, progression, constant updates, then yeah, it's absolutely worth playing, especially if you're a fan of the RuneScape universe and you don't mind that it isn't an MMO. There's a lot here to enjoy, the progression feels good, the world is fun to explore, and there's enough depth to keep you busy for a long time. But if you're someone coming in expecting a full MMO experience, something where you're showing off achievements, competing at a massive scale in a shared world, or grinding alongside hundreds of players, then this is not it. So overall, I've actually enjoyed my time with RuneScape Dragonwilds. It's not perfect, but it's starting to look solid, and it's one of those games that feels like it's only going to get better over time. And looking ahead, the roadmap does show some pretty interesting stuff coming. We've got new planned regions like Umbral Sands and Scorched Wilderness, along with new tiers of gear, missions, skills, and more content for all the older zones. On top of that, the game is also set to launch on more platforms this September. So yeah, I'm genuinely interested to see where this one goes next. I personally hope that they push for official servers with more multiplayer options. Even if it's not at the MMO scale, I think 20 to 30 players could be nice. And with that being said, I'll see you guys soon. Peace out.